It's been very unpleasant. I found the criticism of them so personal, to talk about homophobia, to talk about judges who were enemies of the people, to talk about judges against the people, when what they were doing actually was doing their duty as independent judges and happened to decide that Parliament was sovereign.
Don't you have to just be a bit thick-skinned as a judge and just get on with the job and ignore
I'm
these
not
things?
at all worried about the judges personally. That's not the issue. The issue is the impact on the public's understanding of their independent judiciary. It undermines public confidence in the judicial process. I'm not nearly so worried about the judges as individuals. Of course they have to have thick skins, and you expect to be criticised. You don't become a judge and think, here we are, immune from criticism forever.
Well, I want to be clear. I want to be clear what you're saying. Are you saying that the press is entitled to attack them?
Press are entitled to criticise anybody. The issue, though, is whether or not, if you use a vitriolic attack on the judge personally, you're criticising his decision. And if it's too vitriolic, as it was here, you undermine public confidence. After all, the administration of justice had nobody to defend it anymore.
Well, the government, of course, could see its role as defending it, or the Lord Chancellor, Liz Truss, could see her role as defending the judges. Did she let the judges down?
Well, the Lord Chancellor has a statutory obligation to do it. That is one of her functions, is to defend the judiciary. And it was a little too late, and not a lot. To say that you believe in the independence of the judges is fine, but it doesn't actually address why this matters at this particular time.
Nigel Farage has said he would like a march of 100,000 people from Trafalgar Square down to Parliament Square, where the Supreme Court sits, on the next round of this case. What do you think of that?
I've marched in my time. I've no problem with that. But the idea that it will make any difference,
oh, well, I want to ask you, does it make a difference?
That it should make a difference is what worries me.
Do you think the judges, when they are assailed by personal attacks, 100,000 people marching outside, do you think that makes a difference?
I don't think it makes any difference to the judicial decision, but it does make a difference to public order. Let us just say, for the sake of argument, the Supreme Court decides the High Court was wrong. It will undoubtedly be conveyed as a victory for the demonstrators. It won't be, but that's what will be conveyed. And if that is conveyed, you've undermined the administration of justice.
Certain sections of the population may say, we don't think the class of judges we have at the moment are our type of people who think our type of way. Now, can you hand on heart say that the judges we have form, if you like, represent the breadth of opinion and types of our population out there?
That's, if I may say so, an extraordinary question. And it merits this limited attention. No, judges are prosperous people. Judges do not live in back streets suffering from cuts and so on and so forth. They don't. They're part of the establishment. So the answer to your question is, in the sense that you ask it, no. But in the real sense, what the public would like, I think that however difficult their circumstances, is that if they had a case, the judge would stand up for them against the government. The judge would stand up for them against the council. And that's what they would want, be an independent judiciary to look after them in those circumstances.
I mean, some people have said in the last few days, maybe there should be some democratic accountability of judges. And let's face it, in the United States, we know the Supreme Court is appointed by Congress and the President after a lot of bickering and argument. Now, are you convinced that that is a really bad way of picking the bench?
I admire the members of the Supreme Court of the United States, but as a system for choosing people, it's not a very sensible one. It's entirely political. They always divide on party political lines, and I think that's shocking.
And let me just ask finally, because you're a member of the House of Lords, you'll get to vote on some of these issues in Parliament, if Parliament gets a say. How would you vote? Would you vote in a way that obstructed the passage of Article 50?
Do you know, I have never yet discussed with anybody except for my wife how I vote about anything. But it's a fair question in the context that you're discussing, and I make it absolutely plain. I think the result of the referendum means that the wishes of the majority of the people have to be respected, and I shall vote in favour of Brexit.
Lord Judge, thank you very much indeed.
Not
Thank
at
you.
all.